Hey BookTube, welcome outside in this like 90-degree heat I'm doing a review in. Why, I don't know. You can probably hear the air condition humming in the background or the cicadas chirping away. It is drier than heck out here, except for me, who's sweating like a pig right now. But I'm going to go ahead and do this review. I figure it's a little nicer out here, a little bit more light. These three graphic novels are by two different authors, and I just realized that they all kind of have the same theme, which is like letting go of a past. The first one is literally called Letting Go by Miriam Ketten. She is a Holocaust survivor. She has a mother, a wife, and the story tells about her son wanting to move to Berlin, a city that she is vilified, it says, for 40 years. Since the war, she's not been able to let go of her feelings, of the things she went through. This is a city she wants no part of, and she doesn't want her son moving there. And she eventually, along with her husband, go to visit her son and his girlfriend, and kind of try and see a new side of the city, as the city is itself been transforming and kind of letting go of its past as well. She also goes back again later on in the book to Berlin because of an art exhibit of her own work. This is beautifully drawn. This is the first that drew me to the book. I didn't know anything about it before, but I pulled it off the shelf and looked, and I'm like, just beautiful illustrations. It's all kind of colored pencil work. Occasionally you see black and white when it's dealing with the past, but it's just this really beautifully drawn and colored illustrations just set loose on the page. These are photographs, so you see squares, but usually you don't see any kind of lines around the illustrations. They're just free on the page and just beautifully, beautifully drawn. You see her, looking at the people and just kind of not feeling comfortable around everything, and the various like Holocaust exhibits and things, and how shocked she is about the whole thought of him moving there. It's giving her sleepless nights. She really just shows herself in just the aches and pains of growing older, and she is very open with her illustrations about her own body and everything. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Thinking there's bugs in the bed and everything. But yeah, I love the illustrations. I think what I felt lacked in this book, though, is a more in-depth feeling as to, what she went through during the war. There is apparently a first book that she had done called We Are On Our Own, which was a memoir of her childhood, when she and her mother were hiding in the Hungarian countryside, it says, to escape the Nazis. And I think I'd like to see that book. I'd like to get a chance to read that one, but I think if something along that lines was interspersed more within this one, you'd have a better feel for the character. Here come the cicadas. But it's basically her trying to let go of her feelings for, what she went through, and to, give Berlin, I guess, a chance, and accept, her son moving there and everything, and that it has changed. It's a different city. But like I said, absolutely beautiful illustrations. I would love to see her other book. So that's Letting Go by Miriam Ketten. The next two books are by Jeff Lemire. I had recently reviewed his book The Nobody, which was sort of a take on The Invisible Man. And these are the two here. The first one I'm going to talk about is Underwater Welder. And both of these books feature kind of fathers and sons as the main topic, and kind of dealing with the past or letting go of the past again. So this one features a Nova Scotia underwater welder named Jack Joseph. His father also was an underwater diver, but his main thing was diving for treasure. I think it kind of drove a wedge between himself and Jack's mother, so they were divorced. But he does get to spend a lot of time with his father when he was younger, and used to love, hearing about the things he was diving for. He was always telling him, one of these days I'm going to find that treasure, I'm going to find that treasure. And then one day he didn't come back, an accident, either maybe from his drinking or whatever, he ends up dying. And I think Jack just has trouble dealing with that loss. He's about to become a father himself, and it's almost like him running away from his future to confront his past. And it's a bit supernatural in some parts. There's some weird event that sort of takes place that puts him in a different place, where there aren't like other people, like he's alone in the world. But ultimately, I think he comes to accept kind of everything. But you have to see it as the story goes on. My one concern with this, and also the one upcoming, is the kind of abrupt ending. It just seems like when you get to the end part, you wanted, like, you felt like there should be a few more pages. There was something missing to kind of tie it up. It's sort of like, boom, you know, and then it's like, that's it. I wanted a little bit more at the end. The illustration style is, for the most part, just black and white in this one. There is no additional color other than gray. And again, he has that loose, sketchy kind of style. There are some pages where you get really large, almost full-page illustrations, or some kind of interesting, like, you know, it's still within the squares, but it's sort of like filling up the whole page. Really like his, I like his style. It's interesting, it's loose, it's sketchy, but yet still a lot of detail in there, and overall interesting story. There's another page one of him welding under there. So yeah, he describes himself as being able to put things, really good at putting things together, but yet as we're reading this, it seems like his life is slightly falling apart. But overall, I did enjoy it. And then the next one is Roughneck. It's a big, huge hardcover one. These are all books I had rented from work, so that's why you probably still see the sticker up there. This features Derek Ouellette. He is a former hockey player who was permanently suspended from the league due to the violence and injuries that he has caused to other players. He's sort of like the rough guy, you know, the tough guy that slams people into boards and you know, will retaliate to, you know, if someone's hurt one of his teammates or, you know, checked one of his teammates into the wall. And this sort of seeming anger is all kind of descended from or learned from his father, who was very abusive towards his mother. Always taught Derek to be really tough. You know, don't take anything from anybody. This is sort of reputation now that has followed him. This anger has followed him. He no longer plays hockey, but people still recognize him, and all of a sudden, oh, you know, you're a tough guy. Hey, can I take a picture? You know, blah blah blah. And when he just wants to be left alone, you know, they kind of like, oh, you're not so tough, blah blah blah. Well, that just snaps him. It's like, don't call him a coward, you know. And most of the book is just this black and white with a blue ink wash, except for occasions where he does turn violent and you know, blood is drawn, and you'll see these splashes of red depicting his anger just out of control. And you know, his past and these feelings of anger have led to him kind of just being out on his own, being a bit of a loner, not wanting to be around anybody. He just drinks to kind of drown, you know, whatever his pain, and works as in a diner as a chef, and his life is pretty much a mess. And not only his, but also his sister, and his sister ends up coming to join him. She's also, her life has also been kind of ruined by their father and you know, the upbringing, and also she's escaping an abusive husband herself, so she's ended up with someone just very much like her father. And it's just both of their sort of trying to get their life straight and coming to terms with the past and letting go of the anger and everything like that too. And yeah, overall, another great story, great illustrations, but again, I just felt like a very abrupt ending. A good wrap-up, but still very, very sudden. And this one does have lots of you know, violence in it and language. The other one didn't have any kind of bad language or anything in it, so just warning for that. But overall, still a pretty decent story. I really like his art style. Just wish a little bit more at the end, a little bit more of a conclusion, I guess. Not just like a, you know, boom, done. So anyway, yeah, 3 kind of graphic novels about letting go. Hope you guys enjoyed the reviews, and maybe check them out. If you've read them before, let me know down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.